Hello, ProITians. So, in the last session, we saw about VNets and the high availability options, right? In this session, we are going to look at how we can provision a Ubuntu server, Ubuntu web server, right? Uh, and then we are going to see what are the things that we need to configure while we are actually provisioning the Ubuntu server. So I want you guys to have a close look on those parameters, because that is the first time we are going to do it, because these are the parameters which are actually getting configured when we deploy a machine for the first time, right? All right. So I'll see you in the session. Thank you. Welcome back to ITians. So now let's look at how we can create a virtual machine in Azure, and we'll start with Ubuntu, and later on we are going to look at how we're going to connect it. Yeah. So let's go ahead with installing or configuring virtual machine on Azure. Okay. So for that I need to go to portal.azure.com, right, and then it will prompt for signing in. So I'll go ahead and click on sign in. So as you can see in the notification, I'm still running a free trial, and the credit still remaining credit is about 13,300, right? Because I have not yet utilized any resources on Azure, right? And this is the first time that we are going to create a resource in Azure, right? Okay, great. So for creating a resource, I can click on this plus sign out here and click on create a resource. Okay, now out here there are some popular VMs that can be utilized, right? Windows, Ubuntu, web app, SQL database, and etc. Yeah. So for this session, what we are going to do is we are going to install Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is a Linux based operating system. Okay, I have clicked on Ubuntu, and that will take me to the next page. Now there are some other action items that you will be creating while creating a virtual machine. So these are the ones like basics, disks, networking, management, advanced, tags, and then review plus create. So we are going to look at each of those in our session, and we'll start with the basic to start with. Yeah. All right. So as you can see, we are still running a free trial. Okay, and here is the place where you are going to assign a resource group. For this session, what we are going to do is we are going to create a resource group. But before that, what is a resource group? Okay, because I want to take a moment here, because we have not discussed about resource group till now. I'll give a brief overview of a resource group, and at the later sessions we are going to talk in detail about resource groups. Alright, so what are resource groups? So resource groups are actually a group of resources that have the same lifecycle permissions and policies. Alright, so it can be also used to tag some resources to a particular department, and can be further utilized for admin purpose and billing purpose. So you can consider that those resource groups are like a group of resources which can be utilized for the management purpose. All right, managing of resources. All right, now let's move to instance details. Okay, so before that, let me create a resource group, and since this is my first resource group, so I'll create as ProIT RG. RG is short for resource group, and then 1. All right. So as you can see, we have got the resource group, and we can see out here a new resource group is created. Okay, great. And we are going to create the virtual machine in this resource group. All right. Now, what will be the name of the virtual machine? So we have to give a name of the virtual machine, right? So let's give a name of the virtual machine. So we can say as web server, or we can type the entire full thing, web server 01, and regions. So what region it is going to be part of? Well, I can actually select US or the region which is near to me, but for the testing purpose and for this training purpose, let me utilize US East, because there are quite a few features that are not available in all the regions. So there are some features which we can only utilize in a particular region. So for that, let's start with US East US. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to look at availability options. So we have two, right? Availability zone and availability set. Yeah. So and we have also covered about those two things in our previous sessions, right? So we now know what is an availability zone and what is an availability set, right? And we know that availability zone can be part of a single region, yeah, and availability set can be part of a single data center, right? All right. So for now, I mean, I don't need to worry about availability zones, because this is the lab environment, and we might not be creating the availability zones at this stage. Later on, if we want to, we can update it accordingly. Yeah. So for now, we'll keep it as it is. Yeah. No, nothing required on that. Then the next comes is about the image. Now, so as you can see, Ubuntu server is already selected, but if you want, you can go ahead and change any of the other versions of Linux, so and as well as Windows. But for now, since we want to go ahead with Ubuntu, so we are fine with running Ubuntu out here, right? All right. Also, if you want, you can actually click on this link here, and you can get the link of all the other public images that are available in Azure. Yeah, you can create your image and publicly make it available. So for now, I'll keep it as Ubuntu. Yeah. Now this is something which is actually Azure Spot instance. So this is a concept where you can further reduce the cost of getting the service provision. So it is like the service will be available. It's like you create a bid for having a server, and if you are in that, if you win the bid, you will get a server for a particular time. And then if someone else bids a bit higher, you might lose that server and it will be going to someone else. So that is a short description about Spot instance. Again, we are going to cover all those details in the future sessions. Yeah. For now, yeah, that is the high level overview. Now, as you can see, I mean, this is the size of the virtual machines, right? And if you go with this, you will be charged about 4,000 rupees per month, but you still have an option available wherein actually you can go with a free version that is about we can use this one, B1S. Yeah? So B1S is actually, with B1S you can have about 750 hours per month of free usage. Yeah, and that is only for the first 12 months when you create an account. Post that, it is going to be charged. So this is the machine that we'll use for our testing purpose, right? So once I've selected it, I can click on select, and as you can see, it is changed and it now shows us 501 rupees. But you don't have to worry for the first 12 months if you are utilizing this server for not more than 750 hours per month. Okay, great. So let's scroll down a bit, and yeah, now out here is the process how we are going to connect with the which account we are going to use to connect the virtual machine. So is it going to be SSH public key or with the user ID and password? So for now, I'll select as user ID and password, and I'll click on I'll create an account. Okay, So I've created an admin account for this server, and I'll give a password. Alright, so I've given the password and it is matching, and it is matching with respect to the policy. Yeah. So a password, it should be an alphanumeric character and should consist of a special character. Okay, great. Alright, so now out here we are going to define the ports that are going to be utilized for this server, right? So let me scroll down a bit more, and this is for port that we want to connect our server. So it's actually selected SSH, and for Linux machines we are going to connect through SSH port 22, sorry. So we are good with this out here. Okay, so we'll leave it as it is. Okay, great. We are going to click on next, so I'll click on next, and so we are here with the about disks, right? So here we are going to talk about, we have been provided with the disk space. So it is 30 GB which is provided, and we are good with it. We can change it to whatever size we want. We are good with 30 GB. Yeah. Alright, and then here is the list of disk types, whether you want to go with standard HDD, standard SSD, or a premium SSD. So we are good with the premium SSD. That is fine. And encryption type, so is it going to be a default encryption or a normal or you want to configure the encryption? So for now I'll leave it as default, and then I'll scroll down a bit. Yeah, out here you can you have already got 30 GB, but if you want an additional disk, you can out here create a new disk and attach it to the same server. Alright, and then I click on advanced. Yeah, I will leave it as it is. There's nothing to change about here, and then we click on next, and then we will configure some networking. Right, so you know that we have seen this in the earlier session, that about the networking things, right? About VNets, about the virtual networks, and how we are going to connect to the virtual machines out there, right? So for that we need to have a virtual VNet actually, right? So virtual network, right? So for us, what it has done is automatically created created a virtual network, right? All right, so it has already created the network as 10.0.0.0/24. I would want to make it a change to 16. Okay, great. And I've this is the network range for this VNet, and then for the subnet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a subnet. I'm going to give a name as alright, and then I give a address range. So let's do it this way, 0.1.0/24. Alright, so now we are good with it, and we can click on OK. Alright, so we have created a network and we have created a subnet, right? Great. Then we scroll down a bit, and the public IP, since we want to connect the servers from internet, we want to have a public IP, so we'll keep it as it is. And network security groups and network inbound ports, we'll leave it as it is for now. We'll cover in detail about the NSGs and the inbound ports in the coming sessions, but for now we'll leave it as it is, and then we click on next. That is about the management. Out here also we'll leave it as default, and then go to next. Now out here, this is the place where you want to use some scripting or some parameters that is required to install when the machines are provisioned. So again, those sort of things we are going to look at in the later stage. Let's move to the next one. Is about tags. So in this place we are going to create a tag, and tag is used for making sure that we are tagging a resource to a particular department or particular requirement. Right? For example, you want to do a project for a for a temporary basis. You provision those servers for a particular project, and once the project is done, you want to decommission all those in a single go. So those sort of things is will help when you create a tags. Now also it will also help in the billing perspective. For example, you want to know how much money is spent by a particular department. That's a place you can actually filter out with the tags, and you can actually filter out the billing for that particular tag. Okay, great. So let me create a tag here, and one, and okay, I'll create a new one that is okay. I'll create a new one that is tag. I can give it as a department, say for example project work. Alright, and then I click on next. So at this place you will get total summary of the servers that will be provisioned before actually it starts provisioning the server. So it's like a summary, and it's like do you agree that we are good to provision? So that sort of an agreement, or in case if you find that there are some parameters which are not matching, then you can still go ahead and go back and actually make those changes. So as you can see, this is a free trial, resource group, and name, region, all those things which we set on the basics tab is there, and then it looks good. About disks, everything looks good. Networking, the VNet, subnets, public IP is available. Okay, looks good. Management, yes, all looks good there. Advanced, all looks good. Tags, all looks good there. Great. And then we click on create. Alright. So as you can see, as soon as I clicked on create, I got a notification saying initializing deployment. Alright, so it will take about a few seconds before the servers get provisioned to us. As you can see, I got the notification that your deployment is underway, right? And as you can see, it has started creating the resource groups and NSGs and VNets. Alright, as you can see, I got the notification your deployment is complete. Okay, so I'll go to the notification back, and I can click on go to resource. Yeah, so it took actually a few seconds, and within few seconds our server was ready. Yeah, so as you can see, the resource is already created. It's in the ProIT RG1. Status is running. Location East US, and free trial subscription ID. Name is web server 01, and these are actually the tags. You can go ahead and add your tags now also, or you want to remove any tag. So this is like it's not a fixed thing. You can go and modify the tags anytime. Okay, operating system is Ubuntu. The size of the virtual machine is provided as B1S. Public IP is this one, and then the virtual network subnet is part of here, right? And then let me scroll down a bit. So here are the properties of the virtual machine. Azure Spot is not applicable. Yeah, great. So with that, we have already created the virtual machine. So you can click on the monitoring tab and find out how your virtual machine is performing. Yeah, since it is just new, so it will not have much data, but yeah, it actually started providing it. In the next session, we are going to look at how we are going to connect this server using PuTTY, right? And what are the things that are required to connect to this server. All right, great. I think we have covered quite a bit today, and I hope you guys are enjoying, and I hope you guys would love installing virtual machines in Azure. Remember guys, since we are doing the practicing right now, right, go with the resources that are available with the free tier for now, so that you don't exhaust all your free account on the other resources which are charged. Okay, great. So until next time, have a great time, and please subscribe to the channel to get notified, and also please click on the bell icon to get updates as soon as the video is getting uploaded. All right, great. Thank you, and keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.